Welcome, everybody. We are live at Spaceview Park in beautiful downtown Titusville on a beautiful Florida late summer day. I'm Mark Marquette, and we bring you this time every afternoon a program to help you stay curious with my cameraman Marty Winkle, who Marty's name is on the pylon behind me, where we celebrate American space workers who put our astronauts in space in the Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, and Shuttle program. Like no place else on Earth is Spaceview Park that's surrounded me. The names of workers who gave us $100 to our nonprofit foundation, the U.S. Space Walk of Fame. And we put their names on these beautiful marble tiles as an homage to their hard work of putting our American astronauts in space the last 5 decades. And it's a beautiful day here, like I said, in sunny Florida. Marty and I were outside yesterday at our little rocket garden outside the museum, and I said, let's go out again today, because at 4 o'clock it's usually cloudy and humid and even raining in our rain season here. But I stumbled onto this place just 3 years ago and can't believe that I'm involved with the American Space Museum helping you stay curious every day, because I'm very curious about all aspects of the space program, and none thrills me more than to walk over here, Marty, and put my hand on the handprint of an astronaut, this one, Joe Kerwin, who was in space in 1973 on the first space station of America called Skylab. Kerwin was the first physician astronaut, and on his Skylab mission with Commander Pete Conrad, the moonwalker, and Paul Weitz, a rookie, Kerwin was the medical doctor, and he turned that into a career of space uh, health. He was the NASA Director of Life Sciences in the 1980s. Joe Kerwin's still alive. He's 88 years old. Uh, and Pete Conrad passed away in 1999, way too young at age 89. And Paul Weitz, the other member of that three-man first crew on our historic first space station, Paul Weitz was the commander of STS-6, the maiden flight of Challenger, and he passed away at age 85 in 2017. So Paul Weitz is another underrated astronaut that commanded the first flight of the orbiter Challenger, and we give a tribute to them today for their 28 days in space. They were about beginning their third week. They had about 10 more days to go at this date in space history, coming back to Earth June 22nd, 1973. So Marty's gonna pan around here as we talk a little bit about today in history. Incredibly, four of the five orbiters in the 30-year history of the space shuttle, four of the five of them, all of them except Challenger, were in orbit today on June 12th. And I know that because I looked up the wake-up calls of all these orbiters. So in 1991, STS-40, that was the first life science mission, no doubt with a lot of input from Joe Kerwin, though he wasn't on that mission. In 1991, the wake-up call of Columbia was "Twistin' the Night Away" by Sam Cooke. And if you can't get your feet tapping to a Sam Cooke song, there's something wrong with you. But "Twistin' the Night Away" in 1991 for Columbia. In 1998, Discovery's crew was opened. They were awakened to "Homeward Bound" by Simon and Garfunkel as STS-91 prepared to land. The last mission to the Mir space station was in 1998 on this day in history. In 2002, STS-111 had a song, "Chasing Sheep is the Best Kept to Shepherds" by Peter Greenway. Not familiar with "Chasing Sheep is Best Kept to Shepherds" by Peter Greenway, that song, but that woke up the Endeavour crew that had just put the Leonardo module on the space station. In 2007, Atlantis was in space on this date. Atlantis is just about 10 miles away from us over there, Marty, at the Kennedy Space Visitors Complex. And you got to see that when you come down here. But in 2007, STS-117 was awoken to what a wonderful life, okay? They just installed the last solar panels on the starboard side that gives the space station its winged look with solar panels on each end of it. And in 2008, 12 years ago, Discovery was awoken with Crystal Frontier by Calexico, and they delivered the Japanese Kibo module. That's one of the most important of all the modules up on the International Space Station. They're all important, but our partners, Japan, are doing tremendous science still on the Kibo station. So that's what was going on in space history today. No birthdays. We did have the uh, Salyut space station that we're going to talk about next week. Incredibly, America's first space station, Skylab. And then the Salyut Space Station 1 in 1971 was orbiting the Earth for the Russians, and China had launched their first space station. And I don't have the date in front of me, I think around 2013, about 7, 8 years ago. All three space stations of every country's first was orbiting the Earth right now on June 12th. Kind of an interesting footnote in history. But as Marty, I'm going to ask him to pan around a little bit, get off my face for a minute. He's going to go over here to the monuments that are in the shadow right now and not well seen, but these are giant bronze relief monuments of the Apollo era with the A for Apollo above it. And the ones we're looking at are the American flag and landing, one of the ships that was doing communication with them. On the far left is the launch of the Saturn V rocket, and on the far right, you just maybe check out the American Eagle. But in July 1994, the city of Titusville dedicated this piece of land to be known as Spaceview Park, just west of the Indian River, overlooking Kennedy Space Center. The famed launch pads of Apollo are literally 10 miles away from where Marty and I are standing today. Uh, the idea was to honor the space program with monuments, mission plaques, and bronze handprints of more than 30 astronauts, including the original, all six of the original 7 astronauts are over at the Mercury section. And this was done in the 90s, so Gus Grissom had passed away. As had James Irwin, that Marty at some point in time will zoom in on a bust of Jim Irwin there, the Apollo 15 moonwalker who passed away. And those that we didn't get the handprints of, we have a beautiful bust of them. This is all done by Sandy Storm, a very talented sculptress in the 1990s. The Mercury Monument was dedicated 25 years ago in 1995, and the Gemini Monument followed a couple years later in 1997. Now, this Apollo monument that was dedicated 13 years ago in May 2007, and it took 8 years to build. They actually did the groundbreaking on July 16th, 99, exactly at 9:32 a.m., 30 years after liftoff of Apollo 11. And that kicked off a week-long 30th anniversary celebration here in Titusville for Apollo 11. But it took 8 years to raise the money and build this, and there's some people involved in this, like the Sandmeyer Metal Company out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, donated some of the metal structures here, and other companies were involved in donating the marble and the actual material that the handprints are made of, as well as the material that is used for the space workers. The shuttle monument down the line that Marty may have panned down to was dedicated in 2002, just 5 years ago. So this walking history at Spaceview Park is rather new, just 25 years old for some of it and 5 years old going down the line to the shuttle. And though our museum is closed right now because of the pandemic, this is open and welcome to visit at any time, day or night. Me putting my hands on Joe Kerwin is pretty hot. They heat up pretty good, so no COVID's going to survive on that. And this hot summertime, we've got a special plan maybe to show you how hot these are. Handprints are over at the Gemini uh, Gallery. Uh, have you heard of anyone frying an egg on the sidewalk? Well, Marty and I may try to do that on one of the handprints this summer. So something to look forward to. But we are thrilled to show you on a beautiful day outside our little program, Stay Curious. Marty, I'm looking around here to let our friends know that when they visit here, there is a very special monument by the American flag that is a tribute to all of the space workers who died at Cape Canaveral and Cape Kennedy during the programs. Some of them fell off some of the gantries and so forth. And one woman was run over in a traffic accident, and we honor those people too. You have to be a space worker to have your name put on these pylons. The shuttle ones are filled up. We have reached our limit of shuttle workers, but we've got plenty of room for you Apollo workers. So if you know a family member or somebody, a friend that was an Apollo worker or worked in the Gemini and Apollo programs, we can get your name on this for $100 on these pylons. Now, I've said before that I worked for the Associated Press and Newsweek magazine in New York City as a young man, and I wish they would call me up and say, "Hey, give us $100 and we'll put your name on a wall on Fifth Avenue." I would jump on that in a heartbeat. That's just to show you how special America's space workers were, doing a job like none other, because many of their skill sets had not even been invented in the Mercury and Gemini days and Apollo days. Everything was not on the fly, but it was engineering that was truly breakthrough, cutting edge engineering at the time. So that is one reason why we celebrate our space workers here. Like Marty, up here I see Dick Bigley, former United Space Alliance president and our board chairman at one time. Marty, we saw up here uh, the former launch director of the shuttle. Oh, where's he up there? I didn't see. I lost it there. But anyway, we've got David Max Cook of Bendix. You got Thomas Frederick of IBM. Charles Berry. There's Johnson Space Center. There's the astronauts doctor right there. Okay, and of course we have pictures of some of the astronauts like Joe Kerwin on here. And where were we looking? Anyway, they are quite a tribute to a rare breed of worker, the American space worker. And as I work with Marty and some of them in our volunteer place, believe you me, they have a very unique, interesting way of looking at life, and it involves a lot of safety. I like the NASA way they think about safety and so forth. So once again, we thank you for spending your time to visit the American Space Museum and our little program to help you stay curious. I'm Mark Marquette, and I can't wait to see you here at Spaceview Park in our beautiful museum to bridge the space between us. Thank you.